so today we're going to be talking about Hush, which I've never seen so many people request that film, or not really request it, tell me to watch it in so long. Like, it was just like one day I woke up and there was a million people telling me to watch it, and then it just continued for like 7 days. I'm like, shit, I guess like I'm gonna watch it. I didn't know much about it. I went onto Netflix. The cover on Netflix looked pretty weird. Wasn't a fan of that, but I read the description and I was like, huh. I thought it was really original, like it sounded super cool. Basically, it is a home invasion film where the main character is deaf. Now, I do have my stipulations with that, and I'll get into that, but overall, I thought it was a really good film. I thought the perspective was really cool. It did go in and out of sound, which was cool. I thought it'd be kind of cooler if there was no sound at all, because the jump scares, there wouldn't be jump scares because she's deaf, so wouldn't have booming noises or anything, and some of that, it came in and out, and I love the scenes where it was like so quiet. And you think about it, like, dude, that would be actually so horrifying to be deaf, because you can't hear where they are and they can hear you. You don't know if you're making noise at all. You don't know where they're at. Like, you can't hear them. Like, can you imagine? Usually home invasion films, they're my least favorite because they're not scary to me. I don't know why. They're more realistic than Supernatural, but Supernatural is somewhat scarier to me. But this one was actually terrifying because it puts you in the perspective, like, dude, what if you really couldn't hear then? Like, how would you know? Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I've never seen a film done like that before. My biggest issue with it though, they cast someone who wasn't actually deaf, which kind of annoyed me. It's like casting someone for an Asian role who's white. That's just my personal thoughts on that though, because I did take sign language in college and I do know a bit of it, but that was really annoying to me that they didn't cast someone who was actually deaf, because like, why not? I thought this film was actually very realistic. It wasn't all like heroic and happy all the time. There was definitely realistic things going on. I'm kind of gonna get into that later. I might do spoilers in this video just because I want to talk about it and like the ending and how much I liked about it. Like, it's very accurate to how I feel a home invasion film would be. However, there were moments where it was very movie-like, you know, it was very like, oh, that's so typical of a movie. But there were other moments where I was like, wow, that could actually happen. So I'm gonna get more into the plot. If you haven't seen it, I am gonna go more into the ending and like everything like that, and what happens once he's like in the house and stuff. So if you don't want to know what happens, tune out now, but do watch it. Scare factor is really good. Overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was very good. I don't know why I just did this. Is this 8 out of 10? What is it? Anyway, so she has a friend who's learning sign, and she comes over. She leaves, she has to go home, and later the girl is like making dinner, and then you see her friend come and slam against the window, which is kind of scary to us as the audience. So then the killer guy comes and stabs her over and over again, which it's so hard to watch stabbings. I mean, they're fake, but it's so hard to watch. Like, anything like that, it just sounds realistic, it looks realistic, and it's just horrifying to me. And there was a lot of like gore in this movie, and I loved that. I think it added so much to it. It added more scare factor, and it was awesome. So then later, the guy starts antagonizing her. She finds out that there's someone trying to get in her house. She writes on the window, like, boyfriend coming home. I didn't see your face. I won't say anything. And he just stands there and takes his mask off. And he's like, well, here you go. Here's my face. So then the neighbor's boyfriend comes over, and that's the part that I'm like, okay, that's kind of cheesy. Very movie interaction. Like, why would you not ask for a badge? The guy claims to be a cop. Like, the home invasion guy claims to be a cop, and I'm like, can I see a badge? You're wearing street clothes. Like, what do you mean? He said he's reporting, or he was reported, like something, I don't remember, so he came to check it out, and it's like, the guy wasn't really that skeptical. He figured it out later on, and he like tried to kill him, but it didn't work out. The other guy caught on that he knew, and so they had like a little interaction, and that was really cool. So then what I really liked was the suspense when he actually gets in the house, and the whole time you're like, go girl, come on, get it, get it. It's suspenseful, you know, it's like tense, and you're like rooting for her, like, you can do it. She kicks some ass. Like, that was really badass to see. Like, a deaf woman was kicking ass. She was injuring him, like, she was fighting back, and I love that. How I knew that she wasn't actually deaf in real life though is there's a moment where she's kind of like outside her body, like there's her spirit. She said earlier in the film that there's voices in her head, so she like is talking to herself from outside of her body. Like, it's just the same actress but portrayed twice. She spoke perfect English, which I know she's not deaf in real life. That scene was probably the scariest scene. She was going through all the options of what would happen. She's like, if you wait and hide, you'll bleed out. And that scene, for some reason, it showed her dead, but from bleeding out. And that scene was the scariest to me, like in the bathtub and then in the corner of the room. The scariest. I don't know why. It was just so like haunting to see that she like bled out. I don't conceptually, it just felt very real in that moment. So finally she gets the courage. She's like, well, I'm gonna go out fighting. Like she writes a little note to her parents and everything in the notepad on her laptop. She writes the description of the man, closes it so they can find that and then find him. The scene where she almost dies was so intense. I thought for sure she was gonna die, and I was like, I would love that ending. As morbid as that sounds, you guys know I love that Stephen King ending. I love when it's not expected and it's sad and it's kind of realistic. Like, you would think that she would lose to this guy. He had so many options to actually kill her because she was deaf and she didn't know he was in the room, but because it's a movie, they kind of change that around a little bit and she lives. He dies though, which was cool, but she like barely lives, so I like that it was very real. She didn't just like get one leg stab and she's like, I'm good. It was like she was on the verge of death, and so I like that. I mean, she did stand up at the end and like walk to the porch and sit down, but at least she like almost died. Like, it was very accurate and realistic, and all of it was just so like haunting and traumatic, and like I can't even imagine. Overall, I'm a really big fan of this film, so I definitely recommend watching it. It's on American Netflix if you have that. Let me know your thoughts on Hush if you have seen it, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
You have nowhere else to go.
This is your home now.